Hello, Kingdom Builders. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm back for yet another Wednesday Facebook Live. If you have been following my page, you know every Wednesday I am here. The time has changed, but the platform hasn't. So I'm still going live every Wednesday, well, at least for this month of November. And we are still speaking on creating multiple income streams with your book. If you are joining this live, welcome, welcome, welcome. The new time slot for those of you that's new is 7 a.m. Central Standard, that is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard, and that is 3 p.m. South African time. So if you're in another time zone, this is the time that I usually go live, and I usually go for 15 to 20 minutes, just under 20 minutes, and I share inspiration, breakthrough strategies, and just some testimonies of my clients. So what I do, my name is Dr. Megan Brainerd, and I am a prophetic book architect as well as a global publisher for pioneers. And I journey alongside you and I help you to publish with excellence, as well as stewarding a God-aligned author brand. So for those of you that have been journeying with me for a while, you know that what I used to do, or I still do in another capacity, is also help authors to write. But I've shifted in my business, and God has really been speaking to me to offer help for authors to basically publish your books as well as build God-aligned author brands. So if you are tuning in, welcome, welcome. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join, and then I'm going to get started. So let's deep dive into today's topic. So if you saw the title, we are speaking about 3 areas you need to master if you want to create multiple income streams with your book. 3 areas. So if you watched the live last week, I spoke about, how I shifted in my business, like I shared with you, from writing to publishing, and now helping authors build lasting and sustainable legacies with their books. And it's important also to speak around the mindset, which I will be speaking about today. And, dealing with those little foxes, dealing with any identity crisis, dealing with doubt, dealing with fear when it comes to, God's calling you out of hiding and really just instructing you to amplify your voice in the season. So if you are in this room and you have a powerful message, you have a story, I want you to type voice in the comments. Type voice if you just joined this live, or if you're watching the replay, type voice in the comments. So I'm going to share 3 areas with you, and you may just be in the middle of a transition right now, and I'm going to come alongside you to make sure that you do not abort the assignment, because there is destiny in your loins, and the enemy will try anything and everything to silence your voice. But I just need your faith to come alongside mine, and we're going to stand in agreement. And I just want to empower you on this short live today and share with you 3 areas that I received breakthrough in, not just in a professional capacity, but also in a personal capacity, that helped me to be about my Father's business, that helped me to be positioned for the next level in my business and also in my calling. So let's just start off by the first area, and this is a big one, because as I've been journeying with authors, I have noticed that whenever, we try and sabotage, or we try and talk ourselves out of what God told us to do in the secret place, when we try and, negotiate with God when He says be obedient, or when we try and water down who is our message on social media, it comes from identity. And I want to speak to that because I'm sure all of you know there's so many cyber bullies out there, and a lot of authors or leaders, they are afraid of being rejected by peers, by colleagues, by just in general, because think about it this way: if you are an entrepreneur or you are taking dominion in the marketplace, you're going to go through a refining process, right? You have to be courageous, because especially if you're building a personal brand from your book, so you need to have thick skin. I sure needed to, because my testimony is, I was a young girl, struggled with insecurities. I struggled with inferior, having an inferior complex. I wore the T-shirt, and then God pulled me from out of hiding. He unmuted my voice, and He says, "I need you. Not just in ministry, but I need you in the marketplace, and I need you to amplify the voice and align my daughters, women of faith in business, and I will give you the blueprint." And that's exactly what I've done. But I needed to do inner work as well, right? I didn't just create multiple income streams from my book by accident. I know my previous life was, I created multiple income streams by accident, but I was intentional, right? There was purpose that was calling me, and I didn't want to settle anymore. I didn't want to, just slide into, okay, this is your purpose and this is what God wants me to do. I wanted more. I was hungry for more. I wanted to impact lives. I wanted to influence lives, right? Because I knew that generations was attached to my yes, and it was so much more just about what I wanted to do, but I was thinking about the younger version who I used to be, right? The shame, the guilt, the condemnation. That is what pulled me even into coaching, into consulting. I was thinking about the girl that's been told that you're not good enough, the girl that's been told that you need to have so many degrees before you can step into your calling. I was thinking about that person without a voice. And that is what drove me to wake up in the morning to say, I want to start coaching, I want to start consulting. Right? And God started to speak to me, and I started to have business meetings with Him. It's like, okay, Lord, how do you want me to impact society? What mark do you want me to leave behind? Because I have come to a point in my life where I'm not just doing things just for me, but I'm thinking about the person that you called me to. I'm thinking about the person that you assigned me to, right? The person that can't speak up for themselves, the overlooked, the underdog. That is a person that kept me up at night. And I journeyed with God, and I needed to break down strongholds over my own mind. I needed to come out of agreement with ungodly soul ties. I'm speaking to someone on this live, and I needed to say no, right? When faced with intimidation, control, or manipulation. Because even in entrepreneurship, there's bullies, right? There's gatekeepers. There's people that may have gone before you that have been in entrepreneurship for 20 years, and then you come in only having the business for 2 years or 5 years, and you need to now sell to this person, and you're not confident, right? And insecurity creeps in. And I did the work. And I just found that was such an integral part of my journey and my lessons and my breakthrough that I had to incorporate it into my coaching, into my writing sessions, into even publishing consults. I don't just jump on a call and say, okay, write, what book do you want to publish? No, I first want to know their story, right? I want to know, why is it so important that you want to write a story? Why do you need to publish a story? Who are you speaking to, right? What defining moment in your life brought you to this place? These are the type of questions. This is a conversation I have on my calls. I'm not just saying, okay, right, let's close the sale, you start tomorrow. No, I first want to know the person, understand where they're coming from. Because if that groundwork isn't done, then the book is never going to be finished. Because I've seen authors almost pull the plug just before pressing publish, and I needed to talk them off the ledge to say, you know what, I need you to think about the person that you're writing to. I need you to see her. I know that life is hard. I know that it is challenging right now. I know that you're going through grief cycles. I've been there. But I want to tell you that there's a person that is waiting for you to be obedient to press publish. This is a prophetic assignment. It's not a personal project. These are the type of leaders that I'm called to, that I'm assigned to in this season, right? They are integral. They serve. They're with excellence. They know how to follow instructions, right? They don't just go AWOL. They don't just disappear because they've been through the fire. They're not flaky. They've got substance, right? So I'm still speaking about identity if you just joined us live. And identity is the first area you need to master, not just as an entrepreneur, but as an author and a thought leader that's been called to platforms to take dominion for the kingdom. The work needs to get done. You cannot create multiple income streams His way if you don't do the inner work, if you don't do the soul work, if you don't heal mentally, if you don't heal emotionally of the betrayal, right? Of the last person that lied on you. And I've had my fair share, right? Let's just be real, in business, right? Of whether it's collaborations, whether it's partnerships, some may not even have, turned out the way that I envision it to be. But you know what? I always take the test because it is necessary. The lessons is a stepping stone, and that is what I've actually been, my blueprint have been created from. It's from that pressing, it's from the crushing, right? So I can now advise my clients and say, you know what, just hold on a little longer because he's on his way, right? Don't give up now. And it's so interesting because as I'm sharing with you on this live, I've got about 3 authors that's publishing now over the same time, right? They're giving birth to the book over the same time. And all 3 of them have different stories, different journeys, but I needed to have the conversation to say, I need you to get visible, right? If I see them going back into hiding, I need you to speak up. I need you to press live, and I needed to be their midwife because it is necessary. Because if we are doing kingdom work, we need one another. And I'm so proud of them because I can share so many stories with you on this live, but they would come back to say, thank you for pushing me, thank you for encouraging me, thank you just for showing me, it is possible, it can be done. So that is just my reward, and just to see them flourish. I think just yesterday I spoke to one of the authors. She published 2 books with us. She's about to publish a 3rd. And then I asked her, like, why you always come back? She says, no, I need you because I need, I need someone to understand what I'm anointed for. I need someone to help me to amplify my voice. And it's so much more just about the publish. It's about, when we get together, it's about you being my Mary, and, the story about Mary and Elizabeth, and just being one another's destiny helpers. And I showed her book cover yesterday, and she was over the moon. She was so excited, and she's like, I absolutely love it. And her story is so powerful because she joined the coaching industry at the age of 57, and she's been in there for 10 years. And then on a call, I spoke to her and I said, you know what is different from us working together now? You've been in the coaching industry for 10 years. You've published with us. She basically has been part of all my programs. And we made a joke, and I said, I think you need to get certified because you've been in every program that I've ever hosted. And then she said, yeah, I think I'm ready to be certified now. But she finally took the bold step, and she said, you know what, Megan, I'm ready. I'm ready now I've done the work, because we've done the inner work. She's received a healing, she's received a breakthrough, and she's still, in the process of breaking down the chokeholds. But she made a decision one day, and she says, you know what, even though I feel fear, even though, I'm having all these thoughts, I'm gonna say yes to God, and I'm gonna be obedient, and I'm going to take you up on your offer. And she jumped in and she says, I'm ready now to curate my own multi-author book project and help other women now break off and step into their purpose. I was like, this is God, right? She wants to leave a legacy behind. Age is not stopping her as long as she has, blood in her veins is purpose, and she's now helping other women over 50 stepping into purpose and answering the call of God on their lives. So, but she needed to do the identity work. I think the majority of the work that we did together for 2 years was identity, right? Identity work, the soul work. Second one, real quick, mindset. You need to have a healthy money mindset if you want to create multiple income streams with your book, right? So when it comes to investing, I know a lot of leaders, or if you're a pioneer and you haven't invested at a level that you may be challenged to, you usually would just shy back and say, no, but I'm not ready to invest at that level. But what if you are, right? What if you are looking at what's happening in your bank account and God is like, but I need you to trust me, because I can send one client for one day to cover that investment. So not to limit him. Every decision needs to be from a place of faith and action, meeting. It's not about, in the natural, what you see in the natural. So I'm speaking to faith-based leaders right now. If you joined in, I'm speaking to faith-based authors, right? Because we know that we can make deposits from our heavenly bank account. And if we are, using the book as a seed, God will breathe on that and he will multiply. That's exactly what happened when I wrote my book, Unlock the Scribe in You. He asked me to be obedient. I wrote it in 20 days. I published it in less than 2 months. And I am still reaping the rewards and the harvest of that one yes. And he's calling you to do so much more. So I spoke about mindset, and I'm speaking about unhealthy mindsets. We want to make sure that we have a healthy mindset as a coach, as a consultant, as a speaker, as an author, as a thought leader. You don't want that finances to hinder you from going to the next level and to actually growing. And I always hear, for those that, that's at the level that's earning 7 figures or 8 figures, they will always say, you will earn, well, I'm not saying it verbatim, but it sounds a little bit like you will earn to the level of you have been set free around your identity. So if you feel unworthy, if you feel that you don't deserve, that is going to be a destiny killer. And some of you right now may even feel that you don't deserve what God wants to give you. Maybe the last time that you're asking for something big was when you were in high school or when you were a child. But he's a good father. Think about, if you're a parent, you want your child to come to you to ask you for big things, right? Because you are going to be their provider. So much more, our Heavenly Father wants to be our provider. And if he has given us an assignment and a purpose, we need the resources. And that is one of the main things that drive me in my business. You need sales, you need cash flow in your business to make it profitable, but when you have the funds, you can fund the kingdom. You can fund the mission. You can fund the vision, right? You have the freedom to actually build. And that is so beautiful. I can go on and on about that, but let me end off with the third. Are you still with me? Right? The third area, the resistance you're feeling right now, has nothing to do with you as much as it is about the mantle that you carry, or that is still hidden, or that you're not fully aware of. So when he calls you to do the assignment, and when he calls you to run the business or publish or launch or write the book, he graces you for it. And grace is unmerited favor. It's undeserving. It's not something that we can strive, hustle, or that we need to be overwhelmed with. And I have found when I slow down and when I rest, that is when the ideas start flowing. Not when I'm hustling, not when I'm striving, not when I'm all over the place, not when I'm distracted. And that is why it's so important that we have time to sit with the Lord and say, what do you want me to do with X, Y, Z? How do you want me to steward these resources? And I'm just going to be honest with you. The reason why you have not received that overflow yet may just be because God is still working on you. There's still areas that he wants you to steward in a way, because what you don't want is to get things prematurely, because you will be crushed under the weight of the responsibility of what you are praying for, and you're saying, okay, Lord, why don't you want to give this to me? He's protecting you and I. He's protecting us. The reason why you don't have the podcast yet, the reason why you haven't started the TV show yet, is teaching you stewardship, right? And some of us also need to get real in our businesses and look at the numbers to say, I actually need to get better at sales. I'm not running a charity. We need to distinguish, am I running a ministry or am I running a business, right? And we need to be clear that if I'm building a personal brand and I'm stepping into thought leadership, and this is what I'm doing, this is the services that I'm charging for, and in that way I can now sow back into the ministry. So I think a lot of times, especially if we want to create multiple income streams, we might need to make sure that our businesses are structured in a way. So I call it like an ecosystem, right? That is how I created mine. That's how I teach my authors now as well. we have a paid community which is called the Incubator, and in there I teach authors how to basically take the book and turn that into a course and membership, into a high ticket cohort, whichever way, but it's tailor made, because I believe just because one person builds one way, it doesn't mean that God is calling you the same way. And I think this is also a destiny killer or a hindrance, because we look at others and we compare how they build their businesses, how they write their books, how they launch their books. Oh, this one had a virtual launch. I think I also want to have a virtual launch. Oh, you know what? This one published and their book was $2.99. I think mine should also be $2.99. No. What is your marketing strategy? Right? Just because someone else had a successful launch, you don't know what happened behind the scenes. So you need to make sure that whatever marketing strategy or plan that you have, you need to enjoy it. It needs to be authentic. When you press live, you need to want to do it. No one needs to, give you a script and say, okay, this is what you need to do. And if that is the case, and you're not enjoying it, maybe, you need to go back and say, okay, but why am I not enjoying it? Is it maybe a thought or a belief pattern that I have about sales, or that I have about reaching out to others, or that I have about asking for the sale, whatever the case may be, that I need to work on? I'm going back to identity right now. Because if we are mantled, not just for ministry, and we are also mantled for the marketplace, it's a fine line. Because if we are working, especially with believers in business, you need to be clear, this is my non-negotiables, these are the values, having strong values, right? That complements your vision, because you need to have systems in place if you want to create multiple income streams with your book. I'd love to hear from you if any of this resonates with you. And I also want to invite you, if you have a story that God asked you to publish, whether you have written a book or whether you have not written a book, I would love to, chat to you. We have something special that we're offering for the month of November that we will not be offering from 2026 onwards. We still have 2 publishing spots available. 3 has been taken. We have 2 available to publish in Q1 or Q2 in next year. And like I said, the publishing package does not only consist of everything that you need to get your book out there. I can go into the details when you do reach out. But what I also do is, as part of our bonuses, we have 60-minute prophetic book strategy calls. So everything that I spoke about, I jump on a call with you and we craft a roadmap for you. You get access to our community, you get access to writing sources. You also get access to a profit plan strategy with me, so that you can, plan out your memberships, your courses in that session, so that you can start making a profit before the book is published. So we have all of that under our publishing roof. I have a team that I work with, and we're excited just to meet you and to connect with you. If you do feel that we are a good fit, like I said, we primarily work with leaders, thought leaders that's building a personal brand from their book, and that wants to create high ticket from their book. Those are the type of pioneers and leaders that we partner with. But that's it from me for now. If you're interested in the publishing spot, just DM me publish, and I'll be sure to get that info to you. Once the 2 spots are filled, it is gone. I will see you next week, Wednesday, same time and same place. Bye-bye for now.